Alrighty. So, the first question is, what about the visuals for Choke Enough stand out to you and why? What do you make of them? What kind of themes can you make out of them?
I think, well, I think, of course, the thing that stands out the most and seems to be like the biggest theme is this theme of like blue, right? This like dreamy, like blue, that sort of permeates through, I think, not only like the visual aspects, but I think even sonically, when you hear it, it almost portrays like a blue. I've heard people, there's this sort of almost like universal agreement that many people, when they hear Choke Enough, they think of like being underwater or like dreamy. And so I think blue sort of resonates with that a lot. So I think that's definitely one thing that comes to my mind. It feels blue in my mind when I listen to it.
Yeah. You know, that to me
And
actually...
it feels like childhood nostalgia, I would say.
Yeah, that term also came to mind earlier as well, when you were describing like, you know, your connection to the music. And I thought about just general sentiments that people have expressed, and nostalgia is one of them. But yeah, what you said about it being underwater kind of just connects directly to another question I had, which is just like, have you ever explored kind of side material like NTS mixes of hers, where like in the Malibu mix, for example, which is now currently like my favorite mix ever, as both Jamie and Garrick know. Yeah, so have you explored those at all? Like where they dive deeper into certain sounds or might explore more, and they're usually like really textured in that way where it's like just way more low frequency and stuff?
Yeah, I think definitely, and the one I definitely resonate most is the collaborations and the between Lou and Malibu specifically, because I think I noticed, especially with Malibu, she sort of accentuates so much of the subtleties in the music, and it's very like ambient. When I listen, even the Choke Enough remix that Malibu made is actually one of my favorites. Even including like the original Choke Enough, like the original work, I would say the Malibu version is one of my favorites, and I think both of them together sort of complement each other. You know, they're good friends, but I think musically it's like two wonderful brains, two brilliant minds coming together. I think they complement each other very well in that sense.
Yeah.
It's such a good mix, really.
I can totally imagine myself sharing my little edit where it's basically this cat smothering this rabbit in bed, you know, with like a chokehold and kisses and licks, and I just edited it to be very very light and filtered, and I put that remix over top. So if I get the chance, I will send that to you. Very good that you've explored those things and that you value them. I definitely value them as well. Oh yeah, I might as well, if this is gonna be out to people, I'm totally gonna plug, just so because I totally have reflected on wanting to just kind of share the beauty of the NTS mix with Malibu, just like that mix, just the halfway point, it just becomes incredibly immersive, just like really builds very slowly and like you said, Ash, very nuanced and like very much just very textured and very awesome. So I recommend that
Yeah,
to everyone.
like it almost feels like I guess a good example that I think of is recently Malibu. She did just really recently, she did one of her vanities. She did a mix for vanities, her newest, her debut album.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting because you almost hear like an extensive version of the album, and it's sort of rearranged differently. Like certain songs were done before the order was rearranged in the mix, so it feels like you get almost like an alternate world of the same story.
Mm-hmm. Also,
Which I thought,
Ash, I
I
must
love that.
ask, since you did tell me a bit ago that you'd be available 7 to 8. Do you have a strict kind of a cutoff time?
I could probably go till 8:10.
Okay, got it. Alrighty. So, I know you like want to come back. You've shared that with Oklou chord. You relate it
Yes.
to your personal life and things of that nature. Um,
Yes.
yeah, I think it has really strong lyrics about navigating aloneness and solitude, as well as connections with others, like finding a balance with that. Like with the
Mm.
lyrics, if I can't be alone, then how will I know that this is where I belong? So yeah, I'm just asking in general, like, um, do you find that you relate to certain lyrics off of Choke Enough particularly more than others? And if you would like, expand on why.
Yeah. It's so funny. I was actually having this conversation with a friend recently. We were talking about like I find so much like for me when I listen to music, I tend not to listen so much to lyrical context. Like
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't seem to be something my brain really searches for. I think the way I perceive it is it's almost like an instrument in itself. Like for me, lyrics are just another sort of like an instrument in itself. So I almost am not to like hear lyrics and then like directly relate it to anything, but I will say what I really do enjoy a lot is especially with Cho'Gath, there's so many different instances where there's these sort of lyrics that I don't know what they mean, but they're so interesting. Like the whole "crash my car to take a photo,"
Mm-hmm.
right? Like that one is so unique. And then also with um, wanna come back, like the "some days I'm sitting on a rock,"
Mm-hmm.
like that. Sometimes it's like the way the sort of meanings are portrayed in this interesting vocabulary. I think I tend to become really drawn to that.
Yeah.
They're just, I think probably because it's open to interpretation,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a sense of like wonder and maybe finding your own meaning in it.
Yeah, I really like honestly just how title track has kind of like, to me, just been an outlet of just like just expressing just like catastrophic thinking, like worst case scenarios, but like in a very digestible way. It's basically just
Mm.
like your mind's worst imaginations of crashing a car, but with a spin of it somehow being just worth capturing. It's
Yeah,
and all of that jazz. Um,
yeah.
yeah,
And it's
it's
funny because I find like especially that lyric is like it's in terms of like the words can almost weigh heavy in a way. That's kind of like a loaded sentence, right? But the way it's like you hear it in the song is almost like playful, right? So you have this like sort of contrast.
yeah. Yeah, I feel like in that way it kind of humanizes and like mitigates our fears in a way, if you want to make
Yeah.
that out of it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Um, and yeah, Garrick and Jamie, feel free to jump in if you like at any point, if you have a thought you feel like you want to share.
I do.
Okay.
I really like that point you just made, Ash, about the lyrics being just like another instrument almost. Something that I thought about when listening to Oklou and when listening to music in general, at least like music with more ambient inspirations, more electronic music. I appreciate how sometimes the voice is blended really well with the music, so that sometimes it is a little harder to understand. And I know we had this conversation, Eric, about Viscous, that it was like harder to understand what they were singing, like more than normal. And that technique having its own benefits and creating a specific feeling when you listen to a song like that, and just having the voice become an instrument and having the voice affect you in its own way without even being able to understand exactly what the singer is saying.
Yeah, I want to jump in here and say, yeah, that's really interesting and insightful. Because truth be told, I actually have only listened to Viscous twice, on release date with Garrick and Jamie, and then just live. And now, like with your guys' discussion about it, about this vocal as an instrument kind of understanding, it now makes me better understand this term art pop that has been kind of like put on like this song to try to like label it. And yeah, it's kind of like art. Like when you think of making art out of something, it's just all these different elements and components blended into one. Like integrating all these things together. So I feel like what really stood out to me really was how everything was artistically together, from just the well-crafted sound design of the synths to just all the melodic progressions, to just the general feel of like what they're talking about, how you can dive into like the deeper meanings of the lyrics, which I did after first listening to it. So yeah, good stuff. All right, and finally, what stands out to you reflecting on the live show? Just like off the top of the dome, just like what feels most worth pointing out regarding why Oklou shows would be well worth experiencing for anyone listening who hasn't gone and experienced it themselves.
Wait, the best thing that I can say is that it's like my initial thought, this is the first show like I've ever been to. Like, I thought it would be kind of like, like energetic, more energetic than I thought it would initially be. But it was okay. I think a lot of the people who came were kind of just like, they're looking to have, just a nice and like kind of relatable experience with everybody around them. And there's not, much to think about other than just like the music and what's happening on stage. And I think that everybody is like kind of respectful of each other, and no one's trying to like, I guess, like invade another person's space, you know, just like, yeah, no one's like there to like, I guess, horse around.
Yeah.
Just, that's not to say it's like serious, but it's kind of just like, you know, everyone's like lighten up and just like have a good time. Not, you know, I guess be like a diehard fan and, you know, try to like push and shove. It's just a nice and chill show than,
Yeah.
you know, what I initially thought it would be.
Totally.
Mm.
Definitely makes me want to put my guard down and all that.
Yeah, actually, my guard was pretty like low, like it was not up. I wasn't, so I didn't feel like very insecure.
Good stuff.
I feel like that's, you know, for us to all come together for like, I think we all enjoy her music, you know, in different ways. And I think we all can connect on some mutual level. Just, you know, why people go, you know, find enjoyment in concerts usually. But I think I noticed, and I wasn't really sure what to expect because it was my first, you know, time seeing a Lou show, this tour. So I found that it was people, yeah, same thing, very respectful, but also like, because as I was saying earlier too, like the sort of stage design was also very minimal. And I think with Chokinov is very much like music that's not so much like a sensory overload. You're able to really be in the experience of the music and appreciate the music for what it is, and also it has a depth to it, and also you're sharing that with people to the left and right of you and in front and behind you. Maybe you know them, maybe you don't, and then maybe, you know, you make connections through that. I think it's a very special experience to be a part of, almost like in her world that she designed, you know. She made this whole album, the whole show, and then we go and sort of experience that world.
Yeah. I'm still kind of reflecting back on just how at one point before one of the songs, like someone behind me just asked, "Hey, can you put your backpack to the front? It kind of keeps hitting us." And I just kind of paused for a moment. It was very politely asked. I didn't feel threatened or at all, like I did sometimes in my past 13 concerts. I know. I'm taking a break, guys. Don't worry. It's not an addiction. Yeah, I was like, I'm just gonna not jump around so much. I'm just going to avoid hitting you guys. And they were like, okay. And everything was squared away. And I just felt the most free and comfortable in a concert ever. I mean, the word I kept using to describe it to Garrick, to my parents, is just, it was a phenomenal concert. Just the fact that it's been so long in the making of us coming to this, like how it got rescheduled because of her pregnancy and everything, and all the while we were making meaning and communities, is just phenomenal that it finally led to this. And like I told Ash, like I was just so fed, you know, really nurtured, really just fulfilled, and not craving more, you know, like because you know, I have a philosophical kind of foundation where like too much craving, too much wanting is just leading to suffering, but also resisting your desires is also suffering. So just like this is such a good balance, and in my life right now, where I just feel like I don't need to be looking for any more concerts for a while now, because that was just really something to digest. My last point about this is just, I took about 6 pages worth of pages to just write just all about it, you know, the morning after. And yeah, just a couple things or so that stand out to me off the top of my head is just kind of how she just would set up the atmosphere in between songs, not just jump right in. And how there's just newness with that, with the sounds explored there. I'm really glad I didn't peep any of the stage design or what the shows were like beforehand. And just the fact that she opened with the recorder was just so beautiful. And just the live instrumentation just all throughout just really shows that artistic integrity, those skills, that talent. So really a truly honorable artist.
Beautifully said. That was lovely.
Thank you.
I can tell, you really have a sincerity in your connection to her music.
It's true. Those are really...
That show really well.
Those are really the essential questions that I prepared. So I'm going to stop my recording. Thanks for listening.